Hello there.
Hello.
Hope everyone is well.
How we all doing tonight?
Oh, Blue, the actual size of my name underneath isn't too bad at all either.
Yeah, I was tweaking it. I literally was like, change, apply. Too small. Change, apply. Too small. Change, apply. Too big. Go back.
This one is just right.
Yes, right. Yeah. I have learned the bit of like software that everybody else apparently seems to use when they have friends in Discord. I have learned the thing. I know what it is now. So
Hi, Buzz.
It's good. Hi, Buzz. Hello, we're back in a blender.
It was an interesting little development of how we decided, hey, actually, try this instead. And you did it. And you were like, yeah, I've got an idea. Do this instead. And you showed me everything. Was because, folks, I'm painting minis right now. So I'm actually at the desk next to my computer desk. As such, I'm not really able to be on camera without doing a lot of shifting of stuff.
Yeah.
So Blue went, why don't we just try this instead? And lo behold.
I was like, I want to test this, and it's way too much effort for you to have to literally unplug your entire system to get a little camera up for one night. So I was like, we'll try this. We'll give this a try. Who knows?
Yeah.
And it works, and it was ridiculously easy.
It actually was, like, one of those things of you stop, look at it for 2 seconds and go, the hardest thing about doing that was remembering what my Discord login was.
Yep. Because you kept asking me questions like, do I need to do this? And I was like, nope. Do I need to do this? Nope. Do I need to do this? Nope. It should just work. And it just works.
Yeah. I was just there like, I'm used to this almost always. Not this particular system, but I'm used to systems akin to this. Shit in the bed.
Yeah, kind of the same, honestly.
No other hyperbole, just shit the bed.
So yeah, that's, I guess it just answers the question of, no wonder everybody uses this.
Yeah.
Literally almost every streamer that I watch on a regular basis, the moment they are in a Discord call with friends, they have this on. And I was like, what is it that they use? Well, I learned what it was this morning, and no kidding, it is easy.
Yep. So simple, we could pull it off in about 20 minutes. If even.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because of how it works, now that it's like essentially quote unquote set up, you can use it for like other people as well. I think is the thing. Like if you not that we are, but if you were friends with like other streamers who invited you on their stream.
Wow, you don't think I'm friends with other streamers? Wow. Wow, you don't think I'm friends with other streamers? Wow, fine, I see how it is.
What is it you do for a living, guys?
Nothing at present.
What is it? Yeah, shut up.
Who knows? This might change by Monday.
That would be nice.
I kick in the door and go, bitch, guess what? I'm commissioning you, fucker. That's how you'll know I have the job. I'll be
too bad my commissions are closed. No, I'm only half joking.
For legal reasons.
Well, for legal reasons, it's a half joke because by this time next week they might be closed. They're not currently closed, but they might be. Cause
what you're saying is, if I get the job Monday, I'll be able to do it.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, to go back to what we're saying, in theory, if someone else was also using this, you wouldn't have to like reset up an image. It's now like, I believe it's essentially tied to your account, hence why you had to log in with Discord. So if you log into any Discord server and start talking, people can just grab this and it'll bring it up. Like, I've opted to use my Discord, obviously, because that was what it was made for. But if we went into like the Just Roll With It Discord and went to a channel and had people join, it would work there. It just works.
It's nice when a system just works.
It's nice when it just works.
Can't relate, but it is nice.
Yes.
So, Fluff, what have you been doing since we last spoke with you?
I mean, do you mean you, or do you mean the chat?
We'll go with the chat. We'll go with the chat. I think I'm fairly up to date.
I haven't worked on this since yesterday, but the general gist yesterday was I thought I was going to start the normal map, but I didn't because I was aware of like tweaks to the mesh that I needed to make. I had to tweak the tail, I had to tweak the butt because I had to add in a butt for the degenerates. which is
Yeah.
which is also legally a joke.
Yes.
But
I mean, most of them do know what they are, so.
I added in a bit of a butt that people can turn on and off, and I've fixed the problem with the thick tail, which is basically obviously that the spikes were clipping through it. So that's been added in and stuff. I groaned slightly because I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to add in bones in the armature because people will want jiggle physics because that's valid. But I haven't done anything else since then. We're probably gonna be tackling the normal map tonight, which I am dreading. But what I was just doing here for these couple of minutes that we were just enjoying it was I was deliberating the back of the head, because while the poly count is actually very good, I'm still just like, that's so many unnecessary polygons at the back of the head, and I was literally just giving them a little look and a stare of just like, I probably can reduce these down, I just need to think about it for a minute. And then I was like, I briefly opened up a menu and I was like, I don't suppose Blender is clever enough to have an auto reduce, but probably not, at least not in the way that I would like them to. So that's it. And you're joining in our little creative art evening with your painting, aren't you?
Yes, I have many minis to paint. So, for those who are in the Discord, and if you're not in the Discord, I'll just
do a little bloop.
You'll often see in the art section of it, I will be posting up miniatures that I'm painting for Warhammer, because after a little discussion with a few of our friends on another server, I have quite thoroughly fallen in love with the passion of the game, but I found a faction that I quite enjoy. Because what we did was we played on Tabletop Simulator to get an idea of factions that we may or may not like. You don't want to invest on something without, enjoying it.
Biggest problem of the entire hobby of just like, there's like so many different factions to pick, and it's just like, how do I know which one I like? Well, what you do is you buy 100 minis, which cost you like £200, and then you find out you don't like them, and it's like,
God, I wish 200 minis cost £100.
I know.
Fucking hell.
I'm being hyperbolic because I
I know you are.
I don't know how much they cost because I have no money, so I'm not even going to bother looking.
When I last had money, in the before times, when I last had money, I got the Strike Force set for the Salamanders, and I believe that was about £130, roughly.
Uh-huh.
But it had about 28 miniatures in it.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The miniatures it had were 2 groups of standard troops, 1 elite choice unit, and 1 heavy support unit, as well as a faction leader for them. Anyone who's looking at Warhammer, by the way, I'm just going to say this aloud, wait till 10th edition drops, because I posted these in before.
Are they making plastic minis now? Is that the thing?
They have, yes. They've been making plastic minis for a little bit now, yes. But in 10th edition,
metal, which obviously costs.
Yes, or resin or whatever else, and it's a nightmare. But they have increased their prices. They did it in March. At the start of March, they increased their prices.
That's inflation for you.
Yeah. No, they kept making excuses, and none of them were valid. It was just like, but now looking at it, it makes sense why they're doing it, because when 10th edition comes around, all codexes, which are the rule sets for the respective factions, are gone. You can get them online digitally for free, which will actually be quite nice. I'm very much so a fan of that. I hope you don't have to have like a subscription to their Warhammer Plus and you can download them all, because if that's the case, it's going to be, oh look, I just happened to download all these. Oh, what's that? They're on a Google Drive. How weird. Anyway.
Fiddly
dee. Being a pirate is alright. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
I was just looking if they are wolves on Warhammer. No, they're called Space Wolves, which is false advertising. How dare you call yourself a Space Wolf and be a human?
Well,
Carry on.
I will say there are lichens. Quite interesting. I know. Before you say anything, it is actually a fun little fact. They have so depending on what faction you're in for the Space Marines, you have what's called the Gene Seed, and they're based on the Primarchs, who are all based on the Emperor. So it's just like,
up, everybody! Das has found the lore button.
Well,
it's endearment.
There are
it's endearment. You can
I know. There are mutations in the Fenrisian gene seed, which is the one for Lehman Russ, which is the Space Wolves. And its gene seed is you basically become a Lycan. Like you, well, not fully, you become like a half Lycan in that way of it's more like the 1930s Wolfman than it is werewolf.
Yeah.
You know?
So the
but of course,
boring kind.
it's slightly the boring kind, but given 40K's or the Imperium's aberration of the mutant, a lot of Space Marines went in with Russ into what's called the Warp. Treat that as like the Chaos Realm or the realm of magic, shall we say. And when a lot of them came back without Russ, bear in mind, which is a big fucking deal, Russ is still MIA, a lot of them were much more mutated than they were coming in. So there's a type of Chaos Space Marine called a Forsaken. They're more or less mutated. They're not really got their senses. They basically just get thrown at something, but they're not a Chaos Spawn yet. That's a different beast that's not quite there yet. But what happens is they get like more or less penned in by other Space Wolves chapter members and get released in battle. But there's always a captain or some other individual there who's strong enough, physically strong enough to command them. You know, like if they go too far and they can only see respect from power, they go, oh wait, there's a leader, I listen to the leader kind of thing. Or there's just a dreadnought there who is ready to just backhand someone who misbehaves, which I fucking love dreadnoughts. They're so cool. Like, what's that? Oh, you nearly died in battle? Do you want to come back in a fucking coffin with guns and fight people? Such a cool concept. So there are a type, and I will say they do have Space Wolf chariots. So the Fenrisian chariots, where they're being pulled by massive, literally like massive dire wolves. Bear in mind, these are dire wolves that could pull a Space Marine in a chariot, and Space Marines are usually about 7 to 8 foot tall anyway.
Yeah, we know the thing.
So they're fucking huge puppers.
Yeah, wolves the size of fucking elephants.
Close to. Probably the size of elk, actually, is probably a better a literal side by side is probably closer. Which is, again, still horrifying if you know how big an elk is.
Yep.
But it's quite cool. I have, to no one's surprise, fallen in love with the Space Marines that are called the Salamanders. They're all about... It goes back to my old love of my character Daz from Warcraft. They're the most self-reliant of any of the chapters in that way of, oh, did my stuff break? Okay, I'll fix it. But not like, oh, some damage has happened to my gun or my armor. It's mild, I can mend it. It's like, oh, has my weapon literally broken apart or been destroyed? All right, I'll just go fix it up.
Yeah.
Which I find to be quite cool. And of course I've fallen in love with their Primarch, Vulcan, because Vulcan is, I believe, canonically he is the largest loyalist Primarch. In that way, if he's just fucking huge. Like, he's just massive. Like, he was the only person who could look the Emperor in the eye. Aside from, like, Angrond and a few others that are now evil. So he's like the big brother of the Space Marines. And he is a very loyal father. Like, there was So for a bit of a clarity, he's not the direct father of the Space Marines. His gene seed was used in their development from just people, just teenagers, to Space Marines. But he loves them all as if one would call them their sons. That's what a lot of these Space Primarchs will do. They'll call the Space Marines under their guard their sons.
Mm-hmm.
So Vulcan is very much so like we exist to help humanity, and he's the only Primarch who lets while he was around, he let his sons go, and during times of like pseudo peace, go and be with the families they were born from. No other Space Marine is allowed to do that, and it's to reinforce the "this is why you fight" kind of concept, you know? Very, very cool. It can be quite tragic, and it is often quite tragic in the narrative when, there's might be like 100 or 100+ year war going on, and next time they come back, it's like, oh, 3 generations have passed since you were last here. Here's your great-great-great-great-grandson, or great-great-great-great-grandniece. because Space Marines aren't able or allowed to have children.
No. No.
They get made infertile for obvious reasons. Because, well, let's be real, we don't need any more of those running around. But there is like a theory that one of the Primarchs had a son before he was claimed by the Emperor. And if that guy is actually alive, there's a lot of things that could be changed by him being alive, but I don't know what the story is with it. I think it might just be a fan story. But
right, one of them.
Yeah, one of those things of it's a fan story that became so popular kind of thing that they might need to write something just to, like, you know, get rid of the idea.
Yeah, to like sort of like prove it wrong.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna keep saying that they've got a kid, then we're gonna just go out of our way to say that no, they do not. Stop it.
Or if they had a kid, it would have been so long ago that like even a Space Marine would be dead by this point, because I believe the oldest non-Primarch at present is Dante. He is the chapter master of the Blood Angels. He has this really cool death mask, which is designed in the face of the Primarch he used to serve, because his Primarch's dead.
Boss says, what about dragons? What about dragons?
Well, I mean, the Salamanders are the closest thing you'll get to him, because they
Not an
serve...
actual dragon! Boo! This is Space Wolves Part 2! How dare you fucking lie to me!
Well, they're more like great worms, in that way of the Tolkien-esque, wingless, four-limbed... You little fuckers, the pair of you. But no, I am trying to be...
No, we're just furries.
I know.
We're just furries. We see a name of an animal, and it's like, cool, we want it to be the animal. And when they go, here's a human man, we just go, boo.
Boo this man.
Boo this man.
Fun fact, I will give you this one, though. There is a shard of... I believe he's called, like, there's a particular type of shard of what's called a Catan. C-T-A-N. They're a type of god, essentially, that... You know the metal guys, the Necrons, the robots from space, like they're essentially space zombies, but they're robots.
Right.
They existed. They had a whole human empire, quote unquote humanoid empire, before anything else happened, and a massive disease flushed over all their race. And these Catan went, "Hey, how about you serve us, and we'll solve that problem?" And of course they. Except for one guy who had foresight, who's still around amongst them, they all went, all right, sure. So they all got basically their flesh burned away, their souls more or less just shoved into these robotic forms. Like, they became these forms, and it was one of those, oh, the monkey paw curls now kind of situation.
Yes.
So they didn't like that, so they went around killing their gods.
Ah.
And one of these gods is a Catan shard, who was basically buried in Mars. Now, anyone who knows 40k knows that in Mars is where the Adeptus Mechanicus are from. They are a bunch of...
I was like, why Mars?
I think it's just because they wanted to have the Adeptus Mechanicus, narratively, I think they just wanted the Adeptus Mechanicus away from Earth so that they could be two separate factions. Mm-hmm. But in regards to why the Catan Shard was shoved there, I think it was literally like they shoved them into a bunch of planets, or they turned them into... Who's that? Oh, hi, Rex.
Hi, Rex.
They just shoved them into like planets to be like, get in your fucking hole, get in the fucking hole kind of thing when they were done with them, because they were fed up, because they were, well, turned into senseless things. And it's unfortunately hidden behind Warhammer Plus, but there's a wonderful, it can be wonderful, depends if the animators are paid more than $5 an hour.
Wouldn't that be nice in this day and age?
Yeah. Wonderful show, and the main villain of the setting right now is trying to get something from a Necron Lord. This particular Necron Lord, whose name is escaping me, I think it's like Trazyn the Infinite.
It's fine.
It's, but he's a really enigmatic Necron, because what he does is he basically, if you kill him, he'll just download his programming into another Necron, and he's the only one who knows how to do that.
Oh, it's one of those things, right.
But he's the only one who knows how to do that. And he's a he is the now in most things when Warhammer is referenced, it's like, oh, Warhammer's version of a hoarder. That's got to be some sort of major, super mega hoarder, and he is.
I spent like 20 minutes staring at this, trying to think about it. I'm like, no, what? I'm gonna do it later. It later.
And he is. He had a wonderful story about how, or he was monologuing while he had a bunch of people in a time bubble. Basically, he got them stuck in stations, and he's monologuing to them while their eyes are doing the frantic, like staring about, trying to figure out how to get out of this kind of thing. You know, like the real paralysis panic. And he's just there casually monologuing about it's all well and good making deals with these gods until you realize you can't have any more pleasures. I haven't felt the wind in 60 million years. And it's like, do you wonder what that does to a person, kind of thing.
So it's always that way. It's just like, I'm sorry, but this is probably just honestly my number one critique with Warhammer in general, of just like grim, dark, edgy, dark, and I'm just like, ooh, boy, it's I can understand honestly why it got so popular, because it is literally so perfectly marketed towards because it happened to me of like literally when I was an edgy teenager was when Warhammer first caught my eye of like, yeah, what's this? And I didn't get into it because I had no money, and yeah, but it's like when you take a step back, it's just kind of funny. It's almost satirical, just how extreme it is.
Yeah, very much so. That's why the orcs are, in my opinion, the best faction in 40k. And I say this as someone who loves the salamanders, because the orcs are fucking hilarious. They are literal fungus. They are fungus.
I cannot take Warhammer even slightly seriously. Literally because of that. It's like they're literally in the same breath. It's just like edgy, grimdark, super duper men for the Emperor. Also, orcs exist.
It's red.
Also, orcs exist. I'm just like, okay, you tried so hard to take yourself seriously, and then you failed.
Orcs with the K. It's very serious. They're very serious.
Very, very serious. Okay, let's turn
my God. But that's why I love the orcs. They're just fucking idiots. I love them so much. They're very necessary in that setting. They're the clown with the honking horn. And it's like, here's Hamlet's most tragic scene. Everyone is dead at the court, and in comes the clown going. And like, just like, you know, singing along merrily. It's like, yeah, I needed that levity. Like, so at present, one of the major characters of the setting is coming back. He's been in like sleepy status for a while. He's literally been just a fucking sleep for 10,000 years. That is not a joke. He is straight up been asleep for 10,000 years. That man has got a crick in his fucking neck. But it's been announced that he's going to fight essentially a major powerful villain character. Like, it's like, oh, he is the best duelist of the good guys, and here comes the best villain of the bad guy, or here comes the best fighter of the bad guys, and they're going to smash against each other. Everyone, including me and their brothers.
Please don't crash.
Please don't crash.
I'm just sitting here, just like I've clicked a command, and it's thinking about. There we go. You thought about that for a very long time. I was like, please don't. Please don't crash.
Please don't crash on me.
Please don't crash.
Please don't crash on me. So these two guys are going to fight, but the super evil character of the pair, no, they're both kind of evil because, well, it's fucking Warhammer. But the demon one, I'll call him that, is rumored to have killed a. Oh, you got that.
I'm sorry, you just kept fucking talking.
You got smacked a la puppy.
Just kept fucking talking.
Sorry, I have it over here. I didn't get a ping or nothing because, of course, I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah, that's just so funny. That's comedic.
Unfortunately, the timing was slightly off. It would have been a lot funnier. Oh, he has to go to bed. That's fair.
Yeah.
If he said this when I was going to mention is that everyone thinks that these two are going to have like a huge epic battle, but many people, including myself, thinks a third character is going to come in with the steel chair. Like, you know, like the wrestling.
Fist.
Yeah, basically that kind of concept.
Sadie is. out.
See you, Spook. Much love, buddy. So when the villain, the demon Primarch, got announced, it got very heavily indicated that he may have killed a character. The character is the ultimate orc fighter of the Imperium. Like he literally has like one of their big metal claws as his, because one ripped off his arm, he put it on himself and used it, kind of thing. You know, he's a hard bastard, and he's been kept alive for over 100 years through bullshit plot-based potions that can make someone that way. You know, that kind of shtick. But he got killed. He legitimately got killed.
Rare occurrence in Warhammer. Warhammer always feels like the I've got infinity-proof armor kind of franchise, honestly.
It does kind of feel like that, but the other side of it is, oh look, these two major characters have fought. Oh, look at them fighting. They're fighting so well about how much they want to kill each other. Oh, look out, something has happened, and the parting has been split, and they get sent away to different locations. Which is kind of annoying for me, because the villains of the setting, like the demon Primarchs, for example, those ones can be killed, because they just get banished to the warp, where they will reform, because they are now demons. Angron has, he's the Red Angel, he's like the Khorne-based one. He actually has a very tragic, it's very grimdark, but the last novel that came out, anyone who's reading that one, heads up, had a wonderful section where Angron destroys a major device that is near the core of a planet, and ergo splits the planet. This kills him. This straight up kills him, and there's a brief moment where he actually feels peace for the first time in his entire life since he had these nails put into his head that make him want to kill, and he only gets like slightly null pain from it when he's in a fight. So he was like, wait, is this it? Am I actually free now? Am I actually free now? Nope. 2 minutes later, Khorne resurrected him directly where he was. Like, keep fighting, fucker, you're not done yet. So, like, they can be killed, so why not just, like, let the powerful characters take them on? And it's like, yeah, sure, this guy takes a lot to kill, but he can be killed. It can happen. So he killed off a very famous orc fighting champion of the Imperium. Now, the problem with that is that the orc who he always fought is named Gazkul Mad Uruk Thraka, and he is the biggest boss of Dawaz. He has fought... Gazkul has even been beheaded before.
Mm-hmm.
But he enjoys fighting Commissar Yarrick so much, he resisted death to get his head sewn onto another orc's body so that he could keep fighting Yarrick.
Jesus fucking Christ, this fucking game.
Yes, I know, it's fucking madness, but there was like there was a near mutual respect. Of course, Yarrick wanted to kill him, but Gazkul really respected Yarrick because Yarrick was the only Umi who gave him a proper fight. Like, yeah, he could get a fight out of Space Marines, but he rarely got a fight out of a human. A Umi, as he would call him. And he's found out that Yarrick's dead. And this is a very much so a nobody kills him but me situation. So everyone thinks that the lion, who is Lionel Johnson, yes, that is his name. His name is Lionel Johnson.
I wouldn't expect anything less, honestly.
And he's going up against Angron. It's been confirmed that they're going to fight. Everyone thinks that Gazgul is going to come in with a steel chair and kill Angron.
Jesus.
Because he killed Yarrick, he took his fight from him, and now he's pissed.
Oh,
he's like, but that would be a funny way to do it, but also it would. Yes, it's funny, but that's because there's an orc involved. There's always a bit of comedy with an orc. That's why, like, the Space Marine game that came out in like 2011 was great, because it just had like the war boss of the game. Get off my ship, Space Marine! Like, it adds so much character. It's not just like a, oh yes, we shall do this now for the blah 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 blah. Because you get either dour or grimdark and depressing. You get no in between. Then you get the orcs coming in and they're funny. For fuck's sake, they have literally a type of mushroom that they grow that gets two little red legs. They put dynamite in its mouth and they have it run at people and it blows up. That's fucking hilarious.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid, but it's so funny.
Every time it literally feels like the Benoit Blanc of just like, it's so dumb. Oh, It's so dumb, it's brilliant. No, it's just dumb. It's just
just
dumb. It's literally it's literally the perfect way to summarize it. No, it's just dumb.
You want a just dumb moment? I'll actually pull one out there for the
No,
salamanders.
it's fine.
No.
Honestly, I'm good. I'm good. Meanwhile, what I'm doing here, for anybody who is wondering why I'm now taking away everything that I've just put together, is in preparation for making the normal map. Because of how a normal map is made, I'm preemptively separating them because you project a normal map, and project is the right word. Envision like rays of light. Projecting the detail, and because it's going to be projecting the detail, it will include these bits of the mesh. So basically, on the areas where the horns are touching the head, for example, it will literally like project a line from the horn. But because the horn is toggleable, we don't want a line from the horn projected on the normal map, because people may not have the horn on, which means that there'll just be a mark on the head. And we're like, we don't want that. So that's what I'm doing, for anybody wondering. I've duplicated the mesh, because obviously I want to keep the original the way it's supposed to be. So that's why I've just been sitting here dissecting it all. So the actual proper model is over here, just to sort of talk you through a little bit of what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to briefly open the mouth, because I was like, I don't think I have to remove the teeth. But again, we'll have to see. This is all stuff that I have like have learned from the last few months of all the stuff I've made. Hello. Yes, we are approaching normal map with great trepidation. Which is why I subdivided and then undid all the subdivision, because I was like, I need to do this first. Now I'm going to subdivide, which is the bit that makes it all want to crash, which is fun. So we have that there. We duplicate another mesh. On top of it, we're going to hide the other one to start with. We've got that one. And we've got that one. And then this one is the one that I'm going to sculpt my details for my normal map, which I now need to subdivide, which is where it crashes. So I sit here for a couple of minutes while it thinks about it as I subdivide everything. There we go.
Pray to the Omnisire that it works.
Time for more cake.
Time for more cake.
It's thick chocolate icing.
Ooh, nice.
Ow.
I literally picture that. You know, like the cat that goes like, where it just does the popping sound? I'm picturing that, but it's just that mouth of hop. Lovely.
Right, is that enough? That's probably enough subdivisions.
Will that be enough? There is so little detail going into these 20 models. It's just like they've got the golden symbol. Nice.
That wasn't me.
I thought Spook was gone to bed.
He had to go brush his teeth.
All right.
Good night, sweetie.
He's quiet. They'll all take a lamp out of its socket and they'll come in and we'll beat you.
Which lamp? They've all been packed.
I will make a lamp.
Is it the one I took the batteries out of?
I will get the iron in the so I have reach.
He will take the batteries that you've not even put in yet. He will put the batteries you've not used yet and just like beat you with them exclusively, like throw them at you.
You know, Mara, sweetie. She's very much asleep. She's very happy.
She would propel a poo
No.
through the wall.
Don't be mean. Look how cute she looks. I know. She's never seen a chicken.
Like gravy running through it.
Andrew, she's never seen a chicken, don't know what it is. Good night. Right. Where are we? Right. I'm sculpting. I need my tablet. I don't normally use my tablet for modelling, but I do for sculpting, which I consider to be something different.
what is the difference between modeling and sculpting then? What would be the terminology difference?
So to me, I think technically sculpting is considered part of modeling, but in my brain I separate the two. So modeling. Sorry, my mouth is full. Okay, cool.
You're fine. You're having a cake moment, which is fine.
Modeling is basically how I've made the bulk of this image, where you guys have seen me like grabbing sections of like the vertices and moving them and extruding them out. It's a lot more, I guess, calculated is probably the best word I can come with, even though it's not quite an accurate description. Whereas sculpting, it's literally treating this as a block of clay. And it will behave like a block of clay. But to do that, I have to subdivide it down a lot, which is not good for games. So we don't really tend to have sculpts in games. People, you might see YouTube videos of people being like, here's a time lapse of a 30-hour sculpt that I did, and it'll look gorgeous because most of them do. We do not put sculpts into games. What we do with sculpts for games is we use them to create normal maps, which is what I am doing. I'm going to be using this sculpt to create normal map.
So it is the framework in which you build a sculpt around, or you build a framework around. Am I correct?
Kind of thing. So I've got my base mesh. Now a normal map is tied in with the material, which is where the texture goes. The texture tends to just be pure color, just color. The actual material has a lot more data in it. Shit, I got chocolate on me. Hang on, I gotta wash this off before it stains. Ah! I'm literally halfway through describing something and I go into
Hi chat, it's just us for now. So I hope you're all doing well. I promise I won't throw Warhammer facts at all of you. I'm mostly doing it to give her psychic damage while we're doing this, that's all. She probably has her headset still on, so that's all good. So she's just enjoying listening to me with pseudo ASMR voice while we wait for her to come back. Nothing major. We're just gonna Bob Ross this paint while we wait.
Don't have mistakes. We have happy little accidents of heresy.
Not sure if you heard my partner there, but she said, we don't have mistakes, we have happy little accidents of heresy. Praise the Omnisci. No, don't praise the Omnisci. The Vulcan lives. Anyway, moving on. So,
I'm coming. Oh, there we go. Stains hopefully prevented.
Happy little heresy.
Right. Where was I?
You were describing that you were using the sculpt.
Right, yes. So we use this sculpt from a gameplay standpoint. We use this sculpt to make the high-res version, and you can already see how unhappy my computer is with this because there's a lot of polys involved with sculpting in order to get all the details in. Movies will use things like sculpts because it's not being rendered in real time. Once it's been rendered by the render farm over a course of several months, the movie is made and it's fine. But a lot of games you have to render in real time, and you can't render this many polygons in real time. It's just not feasible currently. That's why with every iteration of game engines and stuff, graphics get better because they can handle more stuff being rendered. That's just the simple reason of it. That is why graphics have gotten better.
Interestingly enough, oh, sorry, go on.
No. So you can talk because I'm about to move on to the next part. So what is it?
No worries. What I was going to say was my college that I went to, actually for minor stuff around the country, not like major development, but like for some of the lighter Irish stuff, because compared to some things we did it much milder when I was over there. They actually farmed out the computers for all of the stuff over the summer. All the computers they had, all the processing power were just farmed out over the summer.
Yes, render farms.
Yep.
I think I've decimated this too much because of how much the program is lagging.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about the chocolate cake or the programming.
Yeah. I think I've decimated the model too much because it's lagging so much for me to work on it. So I'm going to go back a step.
I was gonna say, did you hear me? Did you have the headset on about my ASMR while you were gone?
Oh yes, I did actually.
Yeah, I could have used a different voice and give you psychic damage while you couldn't have changed anything.
I mean, I could take the headset off whenever I want.
I was half hoping you were watching your hands while you were doing it. It's like, stuck.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
I mean, yeah, you can see the sheer amount of polygons that I have on this that just makes it go black, but I think I've gone too far.
Damn.
My computer is struggling to handle it, and my computer is decent. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back a little bit. Just gonna take us a sec.
Usually a good indicator.
Blender crashed! No, always come back.
Julia,
Is
save
this
your blender.
Don't worry, I definitely saved before I started this. So it's gonna come in here and throw something at me soon. No, it's still crashing. Yep, I went too far. I went too far.
Luke is married in Icarus. She has flown too close to the sun. So, chat, what I'm doing that you can't see, whilst we wait for Fluff to get it reestablished, is salamanders have a gray-black skin tone. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing a layer stone or a dawnstone layer paint with a black base layer paint to get the color that I want for the heads. Which is why I'm only doing a small number of these for the simpler units, and the rest are getting done with helmets. Primarily because I really enjoy designing the helmets, because I not only find it much easier to do, because it kind of is, honestly, but also because if you want to, you can add more detail, but you don't really have to. That and the faces have a lot more specific stuff to it. So, like, one of the heads I currently have in blue tack at present, which I will actually put a photo of that on the Discord because it's kind of funny. So the head that I currently have in blue tack that I'm about to post in the art of the Discord is actually let's see now, where are we?
I had to roll back, guys, because it was crashing too hard. So I gotta separate all the parts again.
It's currently got his mouth is open. That's to register that that's a face before it actually. Its mouth is open and the eyes are there as well. So I actually have to. God alive. I'm trying to get this so that it doesn't try to focus on either my fingers or stuff behind it. So. Did that work? Doesn't need to be much. You guys get the vague idea of this. It has a mouth open, so I have to do his teeth and I have to do his eyes. And the thing about the eyes is that they are pinpoint tiny. Like, I feel like I need to get a single strand of hair or a single strand of brush to get the thing on it.
Mini painting do feel like that sometimes.
Yeah. And yes, it is on a mound of blue tack, because that lets me hold it and paint around it without my fingies getting pinky.
Yes. It's very fine work.
Trying to be very fine. Very, very specific work. Hang on, I've got even a tinier brush that I've not even used yet. Do I want to use that for this? Literally, I take it on just like the tiniest tip.
You saying you need just the tip, Das?
You know I always need the tip. Did not mean to do that in my not mean to do that in my ASMR voice, honestly. Oh Christ. Everyone's gonna message Curls and say you're cheating on her. Da 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 da. Actually, I believe the kind of brush, I'm not sure if like the measurements are correct or if my even reference of them are. I think it's like a 0.5. Sorry?
Oh, please.
Or should at least do 100 biddies, because you know the tip's bigger anyway.
Apparently Core's happy to give a tiny tip.
Yeah, Core, we didn't know you had a tiny tip, bud. Here we are. You just announced it live on Twitch.
We need to stop. I am uncomfortable with the energy, and I was the one who started this.
Yes, you were. And like any true god, you have to be able to kill your creation. Do it, you coward. Note to self next time. Dry paint this so that it's a little bit...
Right, this time I'm going to save right before I subdivide, in case it crashes again, because it's the subdivision which is the bit that causes the crash.
That's fair.
Okay, so now we've got this, and we're going to duplicate it. And we hide the base one. Make sure that's oh, okay.
And I should be able to basically try to do the eyes a little bit better first, and then cover over any mistakes by doing the actual layer of the head, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you guys can hear the popping of whenever I open one of the little tubs or not.
I didn't notice, but I'm concentrating, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, save and subdivide once, subdivide twice, and I think last time I just subdivided 3 times, so we'll leave this on a subdivided twice.
I have a single brush, which is like a proper big, like I feel like I'm not sure what the categories are. I feel like a 5 brush or something like that. I'm not sure how they work. Like it was literally lined up, and they had like a 0.5, and it's like it's not 0.5 inches or whichever for it, but it's just a big one, and I've only used it for one thing, and it's the tank, because I've not needed to do those massive brushes with anything else.
Yeah, I think they measured the brushes in millimeters.
Most of the work I do then is on a 1 millimeter or
I think it's like millimeters of the diameter or the radius. I'm not entirely sure. I think it is a measurement. Obviously, the measurement is very, very small.
Yes.
So I think it's the brush head diameter in millimeters.
So what I
you
use
can
is
get brushes that go to 0.01, so it's like
you need to very specifically do 1 pixel IRL.
It's for the eyes. I'm trying to think that. Was that something I actually did, or was it just something I contemplated doing? I can't remember if I actually did it. One time I was painting minis. I think I only contemplated it, but I don't think I actually did it, which was because I needed to do just a dot, I actually contemplated just pulling out one of my hairs and using it. Because we didn't have a brush that small. I was like, I don't need to buy a fucking brush that has 1 hair in it. I have hair on my head, and so I think I contemplated.
God, I wish that were me.
I contemplated just yanking out one of my hairs to just paint a single, like, it was like the highlight of a light on the eyeball. So literally the tiniest dot imaginable.
This guy, because what's quite interesting about salamanders is that they actually have infrared vision.
Yeah, that is neat.
Which is why when their helmets are off, their eyes are red. But when they have their helmets on, their eyes are yellow with the helmets on, because it changes the color because of the red that's coming out. That's how it's meant to work in the lore.
Right.
Which is hilarious. It's like, oh, you have infrared vision. You live on a volcano death planet.
Oh.
That kind of blinds you, does it not? And it's like, oh no, it helps them to see around, like, you know, when they're fighting at night. And I'm like, I'm gonna repeat this again. They're on a volcano death planet. Like, that's where they're from. Why do they need
This is just another infinity proof armor, isn't it? Of just like, they have infrared vision because it's cool. And it's like, you didn't think of the logistics of this at all, did you?
Yeah. It is a cool concept for their, like, snipers and such, because it's like, oh, the fuckers are probably a better shot when they take their helmets off. And they don't have ocular assistance. But, okay, no, this will be my last one, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
I promise.
Uh-huh.
So, you want to talk about you didn't think this plan through, did you? So, basically in the Space Marine Wars, I'll just call it as that. It's the Horus Heresy, it's the Space Marine Wars, where one side is fighting the other. One is loyal to the Emperor, one isn't. Vulcan is the Primarch of the Salamanders, and he's loyal to the Emperor. Conrad Kurz is basically Batman, but he's Batman who kills. So he's like a really bad Punisher. Because he's not even remotely interesting. but he has like a form of precognition. So like he knows when his own death is going to happen, so he basically never worries about a fight. He has captured Vulcan at this time. Vulcan may or may not have had to have a nuke dropped on his head so that he was able to be captured. Again, nonsense. But he captured Vulcan and he tortured him and killed him for several periods. But of course, Vulcan is what is called a perpetual. Basically, the equivalent of Deadpool healing factor. Did you leave a single cell? He's coming back. Kind of thing. So he was being tortured by this guy for an extended period, messed with him up a lot. But Vulcan, at one point he was like, I'm going to drive you mad in a maze to make you break, kind of thing, because he's trying to break his brother. Because, classic sibling rivalry. Classic sibling banter, as one would expect. So he left Vulcan's hammer in the middle of a massive and possible super mega maze. So and the thing that Vulcan knew was that his hammer had a teleporter in it because he made the fucking thing. Because he is the smith of, he is the like hands-on smith of the Primarchs. And so he gets through the maze eventually, and he arrives at his hammer and he picks it up, and he tries to use it to leave, and it doesn't work. This is where Conrad Kurz appears and is like, aha, you stupid fool. I have deceived you this whole time. Your hammer is not a teleport, or cannot teleport out of here, because I have stopped it from working like that. There are dampeners everywhere. So Vulcan looks at him, looks at the hammer, and he said, you know what this still is, though? Still a hammer. And he beats him to near fucking death. he just matches the fuck out of him. And then, and here's the thing. This was the second time in his life that he got beaten so badly, he legitimately questioned his precognition of his own death. Because he was like, wait, no, I'm not meant to die here. Hold on. I'm gonna die wrong. Stop it. So Vulcan gets him, but Vulcan is too nice of a guy, so he lets him live. And then for BM, he teleports out to show that his teleporter actually did work. That his teleporter was so finely crafted by him that this guy's thing wouldn't work. So literally he was like, yeah, no, I just did this just to BM you, and left. So if you want to talk about you didn't think your plan through, that is peak you didn't think your plan through. Also, why did he monologue with him in the same like room at the center of a maze? You could have done it over the intercoms.
Honestly. Some people have no style.
Yeah. Presentation! God.
There's a little tiny bug in this room somewhere, and now I'm like just keeping an eye out because I went and got the fly swatter. I'm just like, you come near me again, you're going splat.
Kind of what Vulcan said to Conrad Kurz. God. Because Vulcan's hammer is like I don't care what you are. If you get hit by this, goodbye. It is the hammer of outro. If you get hit by it, you commit outro. You are just gone. Consider yourself out of the narrative. You do not exist. This is an X-parrot. Ugh. I love Vulcan. He's such a fucking giant Chad. It's basically the Thor of the good Primarchs in that way. He can teleport around with his hammer. He's super strong. He's incredibly resilient. All that kind of jazz. Oh yeah, I have to need another shoulder piece for this guy. Oh, I have to take them off. Thanks, past me. Like using a shotgun as a baseball bat. Yeah, Vaz, if you make the baseball bat make the shotgun well enough, you could treat the back of it as a fucking cludge, you know? Like you can just beat a fucker with it. So they blind themselves in combat. Kind of core. That's another fair point of it that someone didn't think it through. Is that this would basically blind them in combat because they use flame as their primary weapon. So it's like that doesn't make sense. But again, that's probably one author did it, thought it was cool, and then everyone went, actually, did you think this through?
No!
The answer is clearly no. Like there's one author, and he's kind of like the Frank Miller in that way of like he tried to make Batman edgy. In that way of there's a particular writer who tried to make the Ultramarines, which are like the blue ones, the best Space Marines in the world, the best is at everything kind of Space Marines, and everyone's like, we don't talk about Bruno anymore. Like they don't refer to him. They're sick of him. Like the fucker loved blue more than whoever it was that kept making women blue in Warcrafts and Blizzard games. To no one's surprise, I really do enjoy using them on the tabletop because they're very tough. A lot of the stuff that they're very good with is very tough. And they're a slow, steady approach. And if you do charge into them, you're charging into fire, and it's never going to work out because everything's based on a d6. So rather than using like whatever your normal shooting skill would be, you just have to roll a d6 if something charges you to shoot back. You have to hit a 6 to shoot them. With flame weapons, you automatically hit, so you just roll how many shots you get. Like, because it's the literal concept of I'm aiming a flamethrower at you, it's just how many shots I aim in your vague direction. So they're very fun for that. I enjoy them. Mally has told me, by the way, Blue, that her partner will be just there, and she'll be talking about some Space Marine stuff when she gets into it with a friend, and like if she mentions any of the units that I use, he'll just groan in the background. He'll just be like,
Don't talk to me about these.
It's like, why? Don't you love those? It's like, fucking hate those. Because I'll use them and just go, nah,
Nope.
I'll beat your ass with them.
Publication.
I did a thing as well. I did message it to you, but I did a thing just as a talking point for chat where it was pick 5 songs for your OC. 5 songs that represent your OC, which of course was a challenge for me because Thane's playlist is 27.
Yeah, it's a lengthy playlist.
I use it for a lot of stuff, so I tend to have it on just for a long time. That and I like some of the songs on it, but I had to pick between them, and it was actually kind of challenging to pick out, like, shorten it down so significantly. So I was like, all right, what song represents like elements of him then? And like, I Can Go the Distance has to be on that list because it was the first song on the playlist. It's literally the Heracles thing of I can go the distance if I'm that strong. Like, I don't know how I'm getting there, but I will if I could just keep going. Which, you know, yeah, that's my boy. And, you know, a bunch of others then added on to it. But I was just straight up sat there between writing CVs, just going, or like writing up applications going, what's my next OC name? Like, I'd do an application, I'd go and put up a song. I'd do an application, I'd go put up a song. I'd make Frog a cup of tea, I'd go write up a song.
Aww.
Take a sip, babes. I'm actually out of
I've got
my
some water,
liquid.
thank you.
So I'm going to BRB real quickly and get more water.
Just working out which one of these I want to use. Maybe that one? That's number 20? 20.
Suggest the sun, every desert heart that wants the flood, come and bring your need.
Let me grab that. Let me grab this arrow. It doesn't want me to grab the arrow. There we go. Tool.
I am back.
Welcome back. And then I want to go to texture. Yeah, I've got the textures.
I do keep looking back to the salamander I did, and I gave him the flaming torch on the top of it. Honestly, I'm just so fucking proud of that fucking torch. I did so well with it. Because I have another one in this breakout piece, because you get several of these to use with the set for the salamanders, where it's like, oh, these are shoulder pieces with the actual drake already on it. And stuff like that. So I'm there going, well, okay, so what do I want to put the other one on? And what I tend to do is I tend to bring a lieutenant who has the Lord of Fire trait, which is a... So I told you before, you have to roll the amount of flame shots you get with weapons. This just means you get to re-roll them. So it's like, oh, did you roll a bunch of like 2s and 3s or 2s and 1s? Swap them out, just literally grab them and roll again, see what you get instead.
Did the maths and I won't have enough time to open another box before opening event over, and now I was quite sad. Hey, at least you remembered to open boxes. I forgot. I haven't opened a single box, so...
I don't even know which boxes you're talking about,
It's
so
a
hey.
Pokemon Go thing.
Yeah, I'm not fussed. I went around collecting up the... I went to do a little bit of a shop there, and I collected up a bunch of the little... What's the seal ones again? The seal starter Pokemon, the water one?
Poplia.
Yeah, there was a Poplar, so I just was going around collecting them.
Yeah. Basically, I remember enough to open Pokemon Go once a day to, like, catch a Pokemon, or if I'm, like, out on my walk, I will open it and do my walk. But other than that, I tend to forget if there's, like, something happening. Because let's be honest, guys, I have no object permanence. I feel like that's widely known at this point. So it's all well and good someone being like, remember, there's an event happening this week. I will forget.
This is why it's very important to you forgo. It's very
forgot.
important to message into chats of like, "Hey guys, don't forget this event's going on." But like, that's for stuff that's major, and so on.
Yeah. Like
That's
I do have an alarm for like raid hour every week to actually be like, "Hey, it's raid hour," so I'll be there at the very start. But 9 times out of 10 these days, I'll open up for raid hour. If it's not something new, I won't get into a raid because there's not enough people near
Interested.
me. So even though there's loads of gyms, I can literally for the first 10 minutes be there tapping on every single gym, and there's like 6 around me, and they'll all just stay at 0. And I've got plenty of friends, but obviously when you join a raid, you can only invite 5 people at max, so it's like, you know, who do you pick from your friends list kind of thing. So so unless it's something new or something that's like shiny for the first time, I tend to not get invited. So sometimes if it's raid hour and the alarm goes off, I'll quickly be like, "What's the raid hour?" And they're like, "It's Regice for the 6th time." And I'm like, "Cool, not even gonna bother." No one cares about Regice.
I have a shiny Regice. I don't need another one. Where was my head gone?
I do that after the first reminder. I feel like a hole if I post again. It's fine. Like when you post, I remember, but when it's like week-long events, I just forget. It's fine. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. It's only when it's like a Pokemon I really like that I get annoyed if I forget. But like, I ain't gonna lose sleep over Meltan. I'm sorry.
True. Meltan isn't exactly the most compelling.
No. Like when they
Pokemon.
eventually announce an Axu Day, because let's be honest, they've done Dratini, they've done Larvitar, they've done Bagon, they've done Xylus, so there's gotta be an Axu at some point. That I will want, because I've wanted a shiny Axu, a shiny Haxorus forever. And that's another one where it's like, if they announce it, I might set a reminder on my phone to be like, hey fuckboy, go get your shiny Axu, and I'm
Yes,
like,
you called me? Oh, sorry, no, you meant your phone. Sorry.
Yep. have so many windows open. Close that.
That's me whenever I have LinkedIn up and I'm going through job applications in the morning. I'm just like, oh god, so fucking many. I did send off as well for my previous work to go, hey guys, just to let you know, I did pass that course. So if you don't mind, when you get it, you might send it on to me.
I need it.
Because they can't deny it, so I'll get it. The ideal plan is just to get that off of them and just like have them send it to me and not to where I previously lived. It's like, oh no, no one's living there anymore. Honest, just give it to me.
You can just say I've moved since then.
Oh no, I have. That's kind of what I'm saying to them. It's like
Yeah, just
no
say,
one that
I've
I
moved.
wanted to go to is there, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's its own problem of like, oh, you can just come and get it, and it's like, no, I can't.
It's like, see, I no, because I need it for jobs. But if I can like be sent a copy of it, like a photocopy of it, while it's being sent by post, I'm okay with that. Because then I can show people and be like, oh, look, there it is. See. I think I've said it before, but God alive, I wish business was an actual like mandatory fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm in business now. God, I didn't think I would be.
That's the problem, isn't it? You never think you're gonna need stuff. But I mean, while you're in business, you didn't study business. I'm in art. I didn't study art.
I think the only person who's in a job that they like set out from college is Stacy.
Yeah.
And that's a design job.
Well, I was lucky to get into my college course because when I went to uni, we went back to our college because we just thought it would be fun because unlike with my school, which I never really want to see again, we had fond memories of college. So me and some of the people in my uni were like, let's go to one of the college's open days just for fun and see how they do it because we literally had nothing better to do. And we went back and it was a really fun time and we talked to our old lecturer again to be just like, oh, things are going well and stuff. And then just very casually I like glanced at the stuff they were handing out and I picked it up and I was like, yo, they changed the entry requirements. And everyone like gathered around to look at it and it's like, that you're actually required to have taken art in order to get onto this course now. And that was when a couple of us all sort of looked at each other because we were like, oh, we would not have gotten into this course because we did not take art. We did not need art to sign up for this course when we were young.
Here's one for you that you might enjoy. When we were in our third year, see now, added. Oh, I'm being added about. Is that Total Biscuits video about the lore in? Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's the old lore YouTube where
28.
where he did the voice for it.
28th of
yeah.
September.
I used to watch all of those religiously when they made them. That's the old Maker Studio days. Hi, Diglett!
Hi, Diglett! God, that's wild to me that's so long ago. But like, oh, rest his soul. What a good. I liked him. I couldn't help it.
Of course.
But yeah, that is kind of what it's like. Oh wait, I'm getting a stretch. Ooh, several things just popped there. I'm a fucking Rice Krispie, son.
And on rare occurrence, mine didn't pop.
So we were doing a year 3 thing where they were basically like, as people who have been in the course for 3 years, and bear in mind that I did a repeat year because I failed one module. The one module, by the way, was being taught by someone who was on his 10 year, couldn't be removed, and was shit. Like literally brain fogged the entire class because of him. Straight up could not register anything in it. And like 20 other people. If you didn't know stuff prior to it, this guy was like a roadblock. We were in our third year and it was like, oh yeah, make a website advertising the course. And me and 3 other guys, like, you know, good few of us had like a decent head on our shoulders. I wouldn't say I had as much compared to some of them. Like some of these guys, you know, they could code in their sleep. One of them could code drunk and actually coded better drunk than he did sober, and we tested it.
That's funny.
It's wild. And we were just sat there because it's like, oh yeah, do a thing about this actual course. It's like, okay, and we all sat down We all pulled out our pieces to be like, okay, so I'll work on this side of it. And one of the guys just said, guys, what are we studying? And we all sat there for like 10 solid minutes going, shit.
That's not good.
What are we studying? What is this course? It's like, what is multimedia programming and design meant to be for?
It's such a vague term.
Oh, it's for multimedia. It's like, so what? Like, you mean like video and audio and no, it's not like that. It's like websites and so it's like back design of a website, front design of a no. It's like art and it's like so it's like a design and it's like a project. No. It's like so which is it? Yes.
Oh dear.
Fucking hell.
Yikes.
I look back at that and I go, no wonder I fucking flunked it. Oh.
Hear Sadie snoring? I knew she was gonna start snoring at some point.
Oh, baby. Sleepy baby.
Sleepy baby, so sleepy.
So sleepy.
Made the mistake of having coffee after dinner at a restaurant with friends and now I'm wired. Help. Oh no! Need to find something to funnel that energy into.
Diglett, quick, what's your creative passion? Go!
Is it time for more shiny hunting?
Diglett's gonna come back shiny from their hunt. I am the shiny
It's
Diglett.
shiny now. So shiny and chrome.
Like the fucking reverse flash
Shiny
of
hunting,
speed.
yes! Shiny hunting, yes, in all caps.
I did see it, Core. I did see it. I commented on it, yes. That's the video you linked, was it? Or did you also post something else? Yeah. No, that's not from that server. Oh yeah, you just posted the oh, you mean the Cornate Demon. The Corn Berserker, which is just a corn berserker's helmet stuck atop a piece of corn. Like, yes. Blood for the blood god, corn for the cornflakes. Oh god. So I had to ask my person who ran the course, hey, would you mind answering the question of what grade of a SIPS course would this be? That's like the certificate in supply chain. It is. He came back going, no idea.
Great.
Because I think it's more of a UK base than it is Irish base. I know what's happened as well. He has a course on at this time. So this is his break period. Or no, he's probably just about to finish his course, actually. Because he does like a class every night. He does like part-time classes every night. Does it shoot popcorns like a minigun? No, boss, because corn doesn't like ranged weapons. You pick up an axe and you go in, even if you're a piece of corn. Funnily enough, bloodletters are a piece of corn. That joke would have been a lot funnier if that was a bloodletter as of corn. I'm getting into the fucking...
That's getting way too nitty gritty.
Is there a piece of corn? Because all demons are a fragment of the primary demon. Oh. My fucking computer went to sleep. Wait, it detected a new audio? What? No, it's using the same ones. Do I sound the same? Any differences in how I sound, Fluff?
No, why?
No, that's weird. Fucking. It's probably because it's looking at the monitor as the outsource, because the monitor can be used as actually as like a TV. It tried to like switch and be like, oh, do you want to swap over to this? And I'm like, no. No, I do not. No one needs to listen to me and whatever I'm listening to at the same time. I don't need to listen to that doubled. Sounds about the same to me. Yep, thanks, Corp. Worth checking. Where the fuck's my wife? There it is.
We click this button and then we sit and wait and pray.
Pray to the Omniscient.
Can't see it because of my banner, but literally underneath the banner there's just a little bar, which is just a little percentage bar, very slowly filling up, and I'm like, I just gotta sit here and wait and see what it does. Yay.
Fingers crossed. I'll cross my toes actually, because I'm holding a piece.
I've only done a little tiny thing. I'm like, well, let's see where it goes. Ah, it's doing something because I can see it's stealing my frames. Nom 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 nom.
Cookie Monster, but with frames. Frames for the frame god.
Small bar crying because being made to render many things. Literally, yeah. Rendering and baking is occurring, and it's like, oof, slow process. Very slow process, though. Fucking hell. Didn't take this long last time.
Are you getting an error, or?
No, it's just thinking. It's just thinking. It's got his thinking hat on. Oh, I
He's just standing there,
menacingly.
menacingly.
Oop, there we go.
Okay, I've got that shoulder piece done. Now I'll...
Yeah, I'm literally just doing a test at the moment, like, just to see if it's gonna spit out something even vaguely correct.
I have a huge relief with what I currently have, because none of my models here, if they're from the same unit, they're similar. If they're not, they're very different. I have one set of guys which are basically an infiltration style unit. They've only got one shoulder piece, and I put a gold band around theirs. Everyone else has a black one, and the only one that's even the closest size to their own model, because some of them are bigger because they're bigger and chunkier armor, have black with a green around the pauldron, so it's very easy to identify who's from where. Thankfully. Makes my life a lot easier. How many more arms do I have here? And other wonderful questions. Have I used 47 and 48 yet? I have not.
Forgotten how to do this.
How do you want to do this? I don't know.
Oh no!
Also, I just realized what I could do next week on our stream potentially. Whether here or like by myself, is I could make a little meme compilation of stuff from the streams. But put in the background, here comes the pain train, and just like put Thane in it every time Thane has hit someone. Here comes the Thane train, here comes the Thane train. Some stupid joke like that. It'd be funny. I just have to figure out how to use fucking video editor. Because I'm not good with that.
That was an interesting effect.
Hmm.
He's had an egg thrown at him.
Oh my god, what happened?
He had an egg thrown at him. Splat. Oh
Messy
dear.
puppy. Mucky puppy,
Messy
as
boy. Oh dear.
Mucky puppy, as the fluff would say.
There we go. Select you this time.
And I fucking. It's
Select
51 and 50, and it's 47 and 48. Did I use 48? I didn't. That's why this isn't working. I used the wrong arm. So which arm did I grab? It was fucking one of his. Now you're there somewhere. Fuck it. Put that over there for now with the other arms that I've misplaced. American Dragon. Whose model, Diglett? Mine or do you mean actually like Fluff's American Dragon?
Reminds me of American Dragon. Oh, I used to love American Dragon.
American Dragon.
Yeah, God. God. I think we talked about American Dragon
Once.
briefly. Yeah. I loved American Dragon. It was good.
Was that by the same guy who made Danny Phantom?
No, I don't believe it was. It's interesting because they're like, from what I understand, I've heard other people talk about this as well. Because like I think I watched like season 1 because it was on when I was in school, and then I didn't really watch season 2 and then they had like a dramatic art style change between season 1 and season 2, and I remember thinking, oh, I prefer season 1's art style, which I think a lot of people agreed with, but apparently season 2 had better story and better writing.
That's probably where the sacrifice was made. It was like, we're gonna change up the art style so that we can tell a different story.
Yeah, because I remember.
One would hope anyway that that's why they would do it. It probably wasn't.
You would hope so, because I remember looking at it. I remember looking at the visuals, being like, "Yeah, this is it." Hang on, let me bring the picture up. I remember seeing like this one here.
Yes.
And like, oh, that's cool. And then season 2 was that, and I was like, what the hell did you do?
Wow, that's a change.
What is that?
That's
How
a Danny.
did you-
It's a
how
Danny
did-
Phantom looking dragon.
How did you get it? Was like you didn't need to change it. It was good. Why did you go from that to that?
Look at how they massacred my boy.
They massacred my boy. But yeah, I heard people talk about this. Apparently they were like, oh, the art got worse, but the story got better. And I'm like, what? America.
I've got 5 models finished, 15 to go.
Right, so I want you to project. I want you to project on this. I don't want you to do it on that one. I want you to do it on this one. God, what's my texture resolution? What's my fucking texture resolution on this thing?
I will say, if I do get this job, touch wood again, it'll be something of, oh, that job's finished. I'll begin working on Pop again.
Neat.
Because it's one of those things of, I don't feel right doing it whilst I'm looking for work.
No, that's fair. Like, obviously we hope that everything goes well on Monday, but it's probably a good idea to keep looking regardless.
Oh, I absolutely am. I
Oh,
absolutely
good.
am. I'm not like the previous job opportunity kind of did me dirty in that way of like, oh yeah, don't worry about looking for others. Like they kind of really heavily leaned at that.
Yeah,
where-
that's why I said that on stream. I think people heard me get angry about it, of just being like, they sold to you so hard that it was fine. It's just so dirty.
I think they were trying to like amp me up because they didn't think they were going to get the people who did come back for the job. Because TLDR folks, people with I have the same experience as them in the same profession, but they have experience in the specific area of it, in that way of they're procuring for this material in this kind of context. So they already know the whole song and dance, so they have minimal training required. So that's why they got it over me, is what I was told. Which honestly, I'll just take it as a compliment that it took a, someone who's in the business and knows the shtick of that particular specification to outdo me. Let's be real, this other one that I'm referring to, I put the application for them in today. 3 hours later, I get a call. I'm kind of hopeful on that. Let's see now. Yeah, Core, probably. They could probably go with a simpler framework.
Probably why. I think it was one. I don't know. This is me literally 100% guessing, having not actually watched season 2, but it wouldn't surprise me if this was during that weird transitional phase where like cartoons were animated by, drawing every frame. And this was transitioning into when they started doing vector cartoons. I don't know if people know what I'm referring to.
I'm afraid I actually don't know what you're referring to with it.
So the animation, the typical like frame by frame drawing animation, drawing each frame.
Yes.
It's that's what you would traditionally know as animation, whereas a vector animation, which
I dropped my arms. Sorry, I'm back.
is, if anything, slightly more similar to 3D animation in that you make like an object and you kind of like pose it and move it like it has a rig or a skeleton.
Right, so it's a bit more. Would it use 3D more then?
No, it's still 2D, but it's the key thing is that it's quicker because you're not drawing each frame.
Thanks, Foz. I appreciate that.
You're not drawing each frame every single time. You're posing an object.
Yeah.
There we go. This picture's very quick. This is very quickly showing
Not
it here.
exactly. Depends on.
I'm doing a very
Well,
shit
exactly
version of
depends
doing
on the
it.
show. If it's stylistic and it's
Fun.
sorry.
It's sort of it's got its like speeding for, but you can see here how they're like moving the image rather than having to draw every individual frame.
Oh, they're messing with the image. I see. Right.
Yeah.
They tried to teach us vector drawing. That's what vector drawing is. That they tried to teach us that in college.
Well, yeah, vectors is different from traditional images because vectors use data, so like they don't pixelate when you do.
Yeah.
It's very complicated, and I'm doing a shit job of summarizing it because it's not easy to summarize. But yeah, I mean, obviously a cartoon that did very well that was vector based was My Little Pony. Vector based,
Yes.
which is why all of the ponies look kind of carbon copies of one another, and which is why they like literally spat out a season almost every year. It's because it's very quick to do. So like Bluey is a vector based cartoon, to name a modern one. They literally did a bit in one of the cartoons about how it was vector-based, because the kid literally made a joke about puppets, because that's what they're called in these animations. It's called a puppet because you move it like a puppet.
Oh, one of the classic, they let them make a joke about it where it's like, what was it? Adventure Time, where they're like, wow, people who do this have no life, and then Finn punched himself in the fucking face.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I do that to myself?
Yeah. Yeah, this one here, Bluey the Fourth Wall, where they zoom out. So see how it's like, oh, this is probably someone.
Oh, yes, I've seen this. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
I think
yes,
that was
yes,
someone
yes.
about to dissect, or literally talking about how it's done. Yeah, this is someone talking about how it's done. Because they were talking about puppets. So you can see briefly there how it's like the person is moving each frame. And it's like an object, which these days is a lot quicker than having to draw every single frame hand by hand. So that's... yeah, to go back to what we're talking about, just a total guess. I don't know if maybe they transitioned from doing a traditional drawn animation to trying to do a vector animation, and maybe that's why the style changed. Could be, I don't know, I haven't even watched it, so that's just a total guess. But I feel like it was around that time that vector animation started to come forward a bit more.
Yeah.
We did this, right, this has had time to cook.
Jesse, we need to cook. Kobolds. Breaking kobold. You know what's worse? Is that I have realized that if I did in fact shave my head or put on a fake bald cap, I would just be Walter White.
F.
Who's going science bitch next to me though? That's the question. Bluey's one of those shows that has no right at being as good as it actually is.
I actually haven't watched any.
I've had to,
Too busy.
quote unquote, had to because, well, minding my nieces and nephews when I was over in Ireland. Legitimately, one of those ones that tells like some very nice, cute little narratives. The parents in it are just A grade. Like, they
This is like the only thing I know about Bluey is that people like watch it and they just start sobbing about their childhood, and then like this one person was talking about it and they were like, I didn't cry, but then I consider that I had pretty decent parents, and I was just like, oh no, is this one of those shows?
The parents in the show are phenomenal. They truly are. They truly are. And there's one moment where I believe it was like, I think it was a friend that was like leaving, and the sister of Bluey, like, now again, you have to forgive me, I was running around at the time, so I don't actually know the full plot of it, but I know it was basically a friend was leaving her or something like that. So the mother, in like a dream or like in a story or something with her, told her about like, it's okay that it can hurt that when people leave our lives like this, because it hurts because we love them. You know, that one of those very, very simple.
Yeah, just very sweet.
Very simple, very like easy to convey to a child style stories, and just gut punching everyone at the same time. You know, like a very, it doesn't have to be like, oh, look at how clever we're being, or it doesn't have to be, oh, pandering to kids. Because again, this is a show for like 4-year-olds. You know, it's not designed for 16s. It's not designed for like,
No,
you
it's
know,
not.
even, it's not designed for like 8-year-olds even. I'd say like 8-year-olds are like the top of the bracket, you know? And it just gets across messages that you look at and go, huh. Like one wonderful little story was, they had a friend, but they literally met them while they were playing together. That was it. That was exclusively it. They met them while they were playing, and they were playing like soldiers or something. And they're like, oh, I've got to go now. And it's like, will I ever see you again? And that was where one of the things was like, well, probably not. And it was very heavily like, you know, leaning towards, I think at one point the kid who's playing, who's going away, they actually get hurt, or no, their soldier, quote unquote, gets hurt. When they're playing as soldier, they get hurt. And there's like a whole thing about them like, oh yeah, well, it's okay though, because, well, we had happy moments and we'll see each other again one day maybe.
Aww.
And it's very simple. It's very it's not trying to overcomplicate something. It tells it in such simple language that a child who doesn't have the full words for it can understand it. And that, I think, is
Right,
very
okay.
important. Very, very important. In the same way that Animaniacs had the comedy, where it was like a kid looking at it could go, oh, that's funny, she just dropped Prince, whereas the parents watching it, or minding a kid watching it, are giggling because they just said fingerprints.
Yep, and they're just like, mm-hmm.
It's like, nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And it's like, like, I'm not allowed to explain to you why that was funny.
Ask your mother. Like,
Why don't ants get sick because they have antibodies? Boo!
Can I ban him?
No.
No. Like, for example, my goddaughter was terrified of wolves for a good long period. She was afraid of wolves quite a lot. And she was convinced wolves would, like, come out and get her or something. And she didn't even like me wearing the lycanthropy shirt.
Aww, baby.
So I explained to her that, wolves are just an animal. They're not out to get people. Because somebody tried to use the notion of if you go too away from the house, a wolf will get you. And I was like, no, we're not playing that game. Not playing that game.
No, that's not how we teach things.
No, it isn't, because that is terrible. But the thing is, bless her, Puss in Boots was coming out, the newest film. And I just grabbed my sister by the shoulders and went, is she still afraid of wolves? And she was like, I don't think so. Why? Be ready for her to bolt in the first 15. Because whilst we all look at what the big bad wolf does in Puss in Boots and go, oh, that's a good character, that's a good antagonist, I'm looking at that going, my niece is gonna be terrified. She's gonna
Aww.
cry at that.
Poor thing.
But thankfully, because he ends up getting quite friendly by the end of it, he doesn't scare her as much. With the way that he talks at the end of it. Who is your favorite fearless hero? Fucking goddamn, I'm gonna get that stuck in my head if I don't stop. It's fucking catchy. They knew what they were doing by making the catchiest song the one
Yeah,
that you
it
hear
has to
first.
be.
Literally the catchy song.
Yeah, you can thanks, but you can see sort of what I'm trying to do. It's just whether I can execute it well.
Hilariously, I did see a thing. There's a particular trend of people using audio from the Shrek or from Puss in Boots film and putting it over animated things that they've been doing. But on YouTube, people are doing it with like Source Filmmaker and the like, and somebody's done it with Springtrap, where it's like, what did I do to deserve this? And then it's just the Golden Freddy and the Phantom staring at it going, I mean, what specifically? I saw a post today and I kind of got annoyed that it existed. There are two types of modern horror. One is you are alone, underwater, exploring across a vast place that has been left to you alone to explore, and the deepness of the ocean is going to stare back at you, and Mr. Scrunkles is loose! Don't let Mr. Scrunkles get you! And everyone's talking about Scrunkles.
Yes, you are correct.
Like, we're all aware they're talking about Scrunkles. None of us like that they're talking about Scrunkles. Well, I'm kind of okay with Scrunkles, because don't put me anywhere near water. I'm good. It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Subnautica, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like Subnautica, there was another one that was recent that was a underwater one where you controlled like robot suits or something like that.
Oh, the Iron Lung?
Not Iron Lung.
No,
What was it?
but that is another one.
Yeah, Scary Game Squad did it. They were on it, where you were trying to get yourself and other people like to the promised like moon-based thing, kind of thing.
I don't think I watched that, whatever that is.
It was underwater. Everything was derelict, and you were convinced you were a person and you were talking to a bunch of robots, but you're also a robot, and your body and your consciousness gets swapped around a few times in other machines or other like bodies, shall we say? But what you realize is happening is you're controlling a consciousness that's been awoken, but your previous body still has you in it. So you've left that one behind and you've now advanced. So there's two of you now. One is trapped and stuck and is there for eternity. And it's like, oh, existential dread and who am I as a real identity thing. Oh, that's real horror shit.
Yeah, I think that's the difference really that they're kind of shittily trying to explain is the difference between a bluey woogie woo and existential dread.
Yeah, really good existential dread because just to pull it out, like Warhammer could be looked at like, oh, look at how like terrible and scary the world is. It's like, yeah, but it's so like over the top done that it's bad. It's like, oh yeah, it's an ingredient on a dish. They've put too much salt on the fucking plate. Now it's nothing but salt.
Is what Voz is
Soma,
saying.
yes, Voz, it is Soma, you're correct.
I'm not very familiar with that owl, I'm afraid, so no wonder I didn't get what it was.
If you want, like, it's not like, terror dread, but like, it's creepy underwater atmosphere, and it's, some of the machines are still working, but not quite kind of thing. It's quite a good one. I'd recommend you watch it if you've got a passing interest in just having something come somewhat creepy to watch. With me? Mr. Scrunkle's gonna get you. Scrunkles.
So scrunkly.
Why he so scrunkly?
He's lived a life of sin.
Can you live the life of sin?
Lived a life of sin.
Oof. Nobody move. Shoulder plate has gone flying. Found it. It wasn't really scary core, but it also didn't need to be scary. It wasn't trying to be like, kind of thing. It wasn't trying to be scaring. That's not what it was aiming for.
Right, yeah.
It was aiming to be horror.
Yeah, this is part of the problem that Mr. Scrunkles has had on the gaming landscape is that a lot of people think that in order for
the analogy of Mr.
in order for
Scrunkles
something to
now.
be scary, it has to be a jump scare, and it's like that's not that. And I think Kels has talked a bit about this as well. Is that narratively the difference between like horror and terror is very, very different, and not a lot of people really understand that. I don't really understand that, but that's mainly because it's not my preferred genre.
Yeah. I think like there's like a analogy of horror is you're being chased by the werewolf. Terror is you realize you're stuck and the werewolf's coming at you, kind of thing. But like a very good example of a horror game that had a pseudo jump scare would be Alien Isolation, in my opinion, because I've never seen the alien in any of that. Now I have seen it, like, it's coming out of nearly nowhere, but like, that's it being sneaky and sneaking up on you. It's not jump scaring you, it's you stopped looking,
Yeah, and it's like, you've got your little radar, and if you're listening for it, then it's like you hear it, so you're like, oh shit, I've got to hide, and then it's like you're looking at your little radar, and it's just going the beep beep, and it's getting closer, and you're there just like, ah. So it's that.
Have
that,
I hidden
that is
well
horror.
enough?
If anything, it's the anticipation.
Yes, which is honestly, it's the balloon about to pop. It's the elastic band being pulled. That kind of horror is the horror that like affects me quite well. Is that kind of horror, which is why like one of my major fears is the deep ocean and what's in the dark water that you can't see, for that idea of what is there about to get you, you know?
Yes.
It had a scary feeling for me, not scary as a jump scare. I agree, Voss.
Yeah.
Soma very much so is a game based on the idea of, like, again, watch, like, say, the Scary Game Squad, highly recommend it, but it's the idea of, if you have this kind of fear, you might have seen this episode on, like, a particular TV show or a sci-fi show that you've watched where one or more people are trapped in a box equivalent and they need to be rescued by something. Someone needs to get them out of their situation. And there's claustrophobia, there's hallucination of isolation, there's all these other things going on because they can't get out of the situation. They have to rely on others. And there's a psychology to it as well. Now, as the viewer, us for example, we know someone's trying to get them out, and we know that the show must continue, so the character will be brought out, you know, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those ones where you, like, you know, as that, you have that relief. In a game where you don't know somebody's out there working to try and get you out of it, you don't have that relief. You don't have that escape. It's why, again, Alien Isolation works so well, is there's no true isolation more than space. It's like the box, the thing that keeps you terrified, because if it was like, say, oh, there's a monster in the woods, okay, you're in the cottage, right? It gets in the cottage, I run away from the cottage and I run out of the woods. At sea, what can you do? There's a monster on the ship, okay, well, I can try to swim. It's like, yeah, but the monster could probably swim after you, so you don't have a lot of options. And then at space, it's like, you go out, you die. Outside is death guaranteed. What do you do? Claustrophobia can be a very powerful tool in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I keep getting a notification? Is that from the same? Nope, not this one. Oh, I caught myself shrimping. Can someone pop a stretch in the chat?
You shrimping. I'm actually.
Oh,
actually
Lord,
proud
I
of it.
shrimping.
I'm actually. I'm proud of the moment. I'm quite proud of the fact.
Hey.
Let's be shrimping. Save, thank you. I will save.
No, Core, it wasn't. That was a different one. I actually had like a number to notification comes up, which is when somebody has added everyone. It was a notification from a different Discord.
Let's try. Let's try again. See how it looks this time.
Fingers crossed. It looks like everything that's around their head is about to just go shoot.
Oof.
You know, like everything's about to like sink onto their head. Your Cobalt. Taking a sip, babes.
Still having a little think at the moment. Oh,
Mm.
Blender be thinking about it.
Oh Lord, did you be thinking?
This is this is the stage of the project which technically probably isn't mandatory, but it's one of those things where it's like it adds a nice bit of polish to it. Like it just finishes it off and makes it look nice. But God, is it finicky to do?
There is a challenge with it.
Yeah. Ow! Gee, thanks. This was the problem I had with the coat. Eventually I did get around it with the coat, but God, did it take a while. Which is why I was kind of dreading it. If anything, the coat was like a warm-up for this. I was just like, the coat, if anything, was simple because it was only a torso. This is an entire body with extras, which is why I was just, like, dreading it.
Mm-hmm.
And already I'm like, it's having mixed results.
Fingers crossed for sure. Do nothing else.
Yeah, because we've got this shit happening. It's like here on the chest, you can see it's sort of doing what it's meant to. It's creating the idea of like a little bit of shadow for where those scales are being put. Obviously,
Right. Yes.
here it looks a little bit weird because the detail doesn't match up with the color, which is yeah, the two are meant to work together. You know, you don't just have a normal map and you don't just have a flat color texture. The two work together. But then
Codependency.
But then you come up to here and it's like, that's not correct. That should not be there. And it's like,
Like a puzzle piece that's out of place.
not quite. And then there's like this shit. This was the shit I was trying to avoid. You can literally see that's literally done what I was trying to stop it doing. You see, that's literally projected.
Right.
That's literally projected the fin on the side of the head, and it's like, don't do that. I literally separated you so that you wouldn't do that. It's up here. You can see it's projected where they all go, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. That's also not supposed to be doing that. So, so it's a case of like, right. So that could be a setting somewhere. And this is the bit that it's like unfortunate, where it's like, okay, I gotta tweak a setting and then rebake it, and then wait for it to do the rebake for a couple of minutes, and then we can see if it's done it. And then it's like, oh, has it done it? Hasn't it done it? It's like, well, I gotta wait another 2 minutes.
It's the tedious, unfortunate
It's the
process.
tediousness. It's the tediousness of like having to rebake it is not fast. Yeah, it's these bits. It's these bits here, but when you look at the shading, you can sort of see it matches up on the chest there. So it's like these bits here.
Oh yeah.
We got 1, 2 there, and yet when you turn this on, you got 1, 2, 3. So it's not fully doing it. It's not just the fact of like, oh well, it's just because these bits are clipping through, and it's like, well, it's not all of them, because we've definitely got 1, 2, 3 there clipping. But then when I go into shading and look at the normal map, we've only got 1 and 2, and they're a lot smaller. So it's like not doing all of it. And that's where my brain goes, why? And I don't know is the simple answer.
Is there a cap to how much of it can do?
There is. See, there are values that you can tweak, but the annoying thing for me is that there is no visual indicator for what these values mean. So there's literally a thing which is,
see what it is.
yeah, it's literally cage extrusion and ray distance. Tweaking these will do it, but that's the tedious part of like, I gotta tweak it, rebake, and wait and see if it did what I wanted. There's no, it doesn't give immediate feedback, which is the irritating thing. So it's like, okay, do I need to decrease it? We'll decrease it, we'll rebake, we'll see what it does. And click and then we wait. So that's unfortunately tedious. Because I just have, I was about to say I just have an everyday PC. It's probably a bit unfair for me to call my PC an everyday PC. It's fairly beefy these days.
It's quite beefy, yeah. The folks worked quite hard to get you that.
Yeah, it's pretty decent, but even still, it doth struggle.
It's kind of, in fact,
because I had like last year. Was it last year? It's terrible. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was last year. I had like new processors.
Last year.
Yeah, new processor, new SSDs and all of that. Graphics card is still the same. So that's probably the old hookup, because of course the old pandemic caused chip shortage, which caused graphics card prices to skyrocket, and they're still ridiculously high. So getting new graphics cards is kind of off the table at the moment.
A certain group of people that I hate, something fuckers. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just one of those things. It's thankfully, I'm as much as we joke about it, I'm not actually that much of a gamer, so I don't need top of the line graphics cards. Because, you know, I literally from my birthday, when people were talking about getting these PC parts, I was like, I just want to play Monster Hunter. That's all I want. And it's like, Monster Hunter World, I think, actually has higher specs than Rise, because Rise is a port of a Switch game. So it's like, well, I could already run World fine, so I was gonna be fine playing Rise, but that was still all I wanted. I was just like, I just want to be able to play Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is the most modern game that I play that has a little bit of intensity to it. So it's just like, can it run it? Yep. Well, then it's fine. I don't need any graphics. So
Sure,
even
sure.
even if my graphics card's like 6 or 7 years old at this point, I'm like, it's fine. I don't need anything better. I don't play anything that's
The one side about that
intense.
that's a bit of a benefit to play a bit of a devil's advocate to that is now when the next generation of monster comes out, that thing will probably still be able to run it.
It's the hope.
Yeah. If that thing can't run the newest Monster Hunter, we're all in shit.
Yeah. If it can't, then probably all it will need is a new graphics card. It won't need anything else.
Yeah.
So it's still there, and if anything, it's intensified it, so maybe I need to go the other direction.
Don't care if potato. Yeah.
Yeah.
Potato.
Does it
Potato.
run my game? Then
Potato.
yeah, does it run my game? Yes, then it's good enough. Yep.
No, sorry.
Literally.
Where's the potato? Where's the potato? Someone mentioned potato. Where is it? I want the potato, Core. Where's the fucking potato? I am no longer asking. Oh, you can take the paddy out of the country. I can't take the country out of the paddy.
No, my frames. Bleh. Mashed it and turned it into alcohol. Ah.
You didn't even offer me some, you bastard. I noticed this very interesting thing that somebody suggested online before of just be aware that when you're painting, when you use one of the metallic paints then have a little speckle in them to give them that kind of metallic color.
Mm-hmm.
When you clean off that brush, the speckles will be in the water, so be careful to throw that water out. Then I saw someone comment immediately after it going, or paint using that color and wash it off and whatever, and keep it in it if you're doing metal, because then when you've dried it off, there's a little bit of the speckles of that then on your paintbrush of the sparkle more than anything else. Then you use a more powerful paint, like whatever your base is for something else, and it has a slight metal touch to it, so it looks a little bit more metallic on things that won't have the metallic element to them. And they're looking at that going, it's apparently meant to work, and I'm just getting better at it anyway, but my models look like they're better, so I'll trust its advice.
So this is a problem. So as we can see here, they've gone now. There's a little bit up there. They've gone now. So that was a step in the right direction. However, it was also too far, because all of the patterns down the rest of the body have also vanished. So we need to go back down a little bit.
Oof.
So this is a delicate balancing act of backwards and forwardsing and having to tweak the mesh and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lengthy process.
So while we have this lengthy process going on, do we want to talk about D&D?
What do you want to talk about, D&D?
Of course I want to talk about D&D. D&D involves D&D.
I
so
said,
I want
what do you want to talk? It wasn't a question, I'm aware. I said, what do you want to talk about, D&D?
Oh, pardon. We can talk about our discussions where we realized that, oh no, this just straight up like a white blood cell would to a fluid's been conditioned against. It just absorbed this radiant energy. That's bad. So for folks in chat that don't know, in Curls' wonderful setting that we're all delighted to be a part of, the villains, well, not the villain, the source of the power of the villains is referred to as Zentrellis. They're a deity-style creature in that way of deity isn't the right word. They're created and designed from divinous magic, which is what we would refer to as holy magic, but there is a divide between what one would call a god and not. So this creature's blood can infect people. If you touch it, if you get too close to it, so on. As one of our party members, Zalric, has discovered, it can be quite bad for you. It can give you nightmares, it can mutate your body, it can do a lot of nasty things.
We've seen a couple of instances where it's like, oh, this is where it goes when it goes like fully bad, and it's like, oh, we've only seen the start of it.
Yes, where, for example, we've seen somebody who's drank it and is, beginning to change as a result, be entirely warped by a creature as a result. So we were like, oh, that's terrible. And we're aware that Tala has this very heavily in her blood, but has something in her blood which is counteracting it. She literally has the through the effects of lycanthropy and other such stuff. She basically has the equivalent of a vaccine. It's not getting rid of it, but it's also not making her a transmitter of it, and it's not making her get worse.
Yeah.
So
Like, there's very clear visual symptoms for somebody who is affected by this. Tala doesn't have any of those visual symptoms. Yes, obviously it's very early on, but
it's not really if Tala's had this since.
Given Tala's backstory, which she actually divulged, it's assumed that she has had this in her system for years, and
over a decade,
and she is visually fine. So the implication is that it doesn't seem to affect her, and we can only really guess as to why.
Yes, the theory being that the blood she was given for lycanthropy has an element of it which can't be affected, and that has halted the advance.
Potentially.
Yes. That's what we believe. That's what's currently this would make sense. So we looked at it and said, well, okay, this is bad. So let's see if we can get somebody to figure out how to get this off of Zalric, because Zalric also has it. Much less to an extent. He only basically has the corruption in an arm. Which, worst come to worst, Zal can get a cool robot on it. If we need to, surgery. But, of course, we don't have the time to do that, so we're trying to resolve it other ways. So, for those who don't know, there are things in D&D referred to as Slod. They're like a giant frog-like folk of chaos in one of the outer planes. They infect people by stabbing them, and their larvae get into their bodies. And one of the things to remove them is a greater restoration.
It's funny we should have been mentioning Alien Isolation later, because if you want to know how they reproduce, just look at the Alien franchise.
Yeah, they do it rather than a face hugger. They stab you.
Yeah, but the end result is the same because Slads burst out the chest. They incubate inside your body and then eat their way out through your chest, much like they do in Alien. Which is gross.
Yes, very true. Very, very true. But essentially, there was a part of my brain which, meta-wise looked at that and said, well, that's similar. I said, well, how can I retroactively process this knowledge? And I was like, well, Thane has used the Greater Restoration spell before. He was given it as a boon. And he knows Greater Restoration can be used for very powerful magical effects and curses. So he was like, okay, what if that could remove this? So we went to somebody who could do it, and what Tala did with her blood sense, which was very, very clever, she focused her blood sense to observe the blood in Zal's body. Because she can focus on Zentral's blood, and it's like heat vision that we mentioned earlier, but instead it just lets her see it in someone. So, for example, if Thane came back and was acting a little bit off and she did a sense blood to him and realized that he's entirely coated in blood, she'd know that's not Thane, someone is impersonating him, because Thane wouldn't be able to get that corrupted that quickly.
As Kels herself said, it's called Zentralis Sense because it's basically the divine sense ability, but for this specific blood. So obviously Thane being a paladin knows what divine sense is. Anybody in D&D who wants to understand what we're talking about, divine sense, but for this particular blood.
Yes. So the blood basically, if anyone has ever seen a white blood cell, on a microscopic level, I've seen a video of it, where a white blood cell has taken over, or come over something and just dissolved it into themselves, it's basically that, where the divinest magic used went in and was just absorbed by the blood unaffected.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's terrible.
That's awful, but it's also very important that we know that, because it's like, that has a lot of implications.
Yes. Because that implies that this thing is, again, I do think the white blood cell thing isn't too far off of it can get rid of divine magic. The divine magic being let's call it the thing that it's vaccinated against, and, it will seek and destroy in the body. And I'm like, that's fucking terrible. So yeah, that's where we are. We're aware of this now, and now there's so much more that is implied after that, which is horrifying. But that's where we currently are. That's where we ended the session. Next session will be a lot of talking with people none of us like.
Yay!
I still
But
find
it's
it
also one of
hilarious.
those things where I think it's generally one of those things where it's like, on paper, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just bad vibes, you know? It's bad
These were
vibes.
people who literally were like, "Oh yeah, we will call this entire city at the possibility of there being one vampire in it. Maybe we don't have confirmation she's in there." And it's like, really? That's
Yeah.
all it takes is
It's
the
like,
rumor of
yeah,
one?
as a group collectively, it's like, you don't make great choices, but they're not exactly easy choices.
No, very much so. Which
Yeah,
is why
yeah,
Thane was.
yeah. It's like it's another one of those ones where it's the perspective, because like Thane can very easily, because of their opinions on things, obviously be just like usurped. But Tal's one of those people where it's like, they have a point. They just didn't handle it very well.
Honestly, that was what I was gonna say, which is why Thane didn't comment when Zal and Tala went, "Oh, you're fucking chickening out. Oh, are you pussies?" Kind of to Peleus. Peleus was the person who gave us news that Tala's organization, the Red Furs, are leaving
Yes.
the country. Like they're getting out of Dodge. And it's like, really? You're backing out, you bunch of pussies? Was the kind of way that Tala and Zalric reacted to this person.
Yeah.
They didn't comment at the time because this was just the messenger. Nothing's getting changed by changing this man's opinion. Also, he was a bastard because one of those things of you could present this information in any other way. You don't have to be such a shithead about it.
Yes. That too.
But next session we'll be talking with several high-end members of Tala's organization.
Excuse me.
And God above, it's not one we're looking forward to. But we do have something I still, Blue, I've thought about. I know I messaged you about it personally, but I've thought about that blood so much. So, Thane currently has what is referred to as a blood purging potion.
Yeah.
What it will do is...
It's not a good thing to have.
It can be very good. It's a very uncomfortable thing to have. And honestly,
Yeah.
I think Thane's the best person to have it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so for those who don't know, it is a potion which we don't know the DC of, but when drank, someone who is incredibly resilient and tough will survive it. So you have to be
high constitution stat.
Yes. So you have to be incredibly tough to drink this and survive it, and then you'll be induced for like hours of pain, racking pain, as your body is literally breaking itself down to a grade. So it's breaking down because it's going back to what would be a default state of your body. So it's going back to prior to you ever, like, say, let's say you're a werewolf and you have been a werewolf for a long time. This potion would mean that your body would be broken back, so all you are is whatever you were prior to that.
It's a potion of factory reset. If you were human, you will be reset all the way back to your human state, removing anything that you've basically obtained throughout your life. It's a factory reset potion, which is, in this game, horrifying.
Yes, because Curls does dark fantasy right, in my opinion, in that way. Because, yes, this is an incredibly fucked up thing. So it's there. It exists. Here's Chekhov's gun. I've laid it on the table. Who's picking up Chekhov's gun, guys? Who's doing it? Come on, who's gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all sat there looking at Chekhov's gun going, well, shit, who's gonna pick up Chekhov's gun? So, by that measure, I think it's quite good for that reason. I think it's a very cool concept, myself. Of course, this is one of those things of, we're like, well, okay, well, who's picking it up? It's like, well, that's a great question. Because it can be used to bring someone back to a state. So, for example, if Zalric was going to be entirely taken over by Zentralis, Zalric could drink this potion. Whilst it could probably nearly kill Zalric,
Well, I don't know what Zal's stat is, so it could kill him.
it could kill him, but he has plenty of people around him to give him buffs, like bless and bonuses from Constitution, from Thane, from his aura, because saving throws is what I imagine this would be induced into. Again, that's me assuming. So pinch of salt.
We don't know. Scream.
We don't know. We don't know. Scream. But it's one of those things that, oh, this is terrible. This is like, a really fucked up thing. And I'm holding this potion and thinking to myself, if I shove this in Edmund Destreas's mouth, like, just jam it in there, like fucking make a dog take their medicine kind of thing. Because both of our antagonists for this setting, Mara Avarina and Edmund Destreas, both are not what they originally were. Mara is a vampire heavily infested, shall we say, by Zentralis blood because it's parasitic. Edmund Destreas has become more and more demonic over time. Literally, his body is transitioning to a demonic state. And all I can think of is, if I made him drink this potion, firstly, I don't believe this potion would kill either of them.
No, it probably wouldn't kill them.
But it would fucking hurt. And if you want to talk about, like, keeping somebody from doing something for a period of time, like it's meant to be 8 hours, it's like, if that goes into one of their mouths, in a fight, that's probably going to take them out of the fight. Because, they're racked with pain. Honestly, I'll be a bit more horrified if Edmund isn't taken out by this. If he still fights with it, like, fucking up his body. It's like, oh god, how tough are you, you mad bastard? Which I'm sure plenty of people have said to Thane in the past. Is how fucking tough are you, you prick? And it's like, yeah, tough enough. Get it up, yeah. I was looking for a brush, and it's on my fucking head.
Your head?
Because it was behind my ear.
Oh, okay. I was very confused then.
No, I am balancing it on my forehead.
Yeah, so you just got just on the top of your head, just on your the crown of your head. Just
I'm that good. I'm that good. I am amazing, chat. I am amazing. Don't look behind the curtain. I'm amazing.
In fact amazing. There is no curtain. Shut up.
Fishing for compliments, it worked. Ha 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 ha.
Boy.
But yes, we look at this and we're like, oh, this potion could be used for... This is Chekhov's gun for this campaign. It's been put in front of us. There will only ever be one of it. What do we do with it, And it's like, oof. What we could do with this thing is so much. Like, we could legitimately mess up one of these characters. But of course, then, the challenge of that is, okay, how do we get this character to put it in their job? It's like, well, like a dog taking their medicine, someone grabs the back of their head and the other one shoves it in. And just hope that it, takes, basically.
Yeah, not the easiest thing to do.
Whereas otherwise, we'd be using this primarily either for Zalric again, or we'll use it for Cordelia Fallon.
Yeah, that was my primary thought when we got it. Of like, we may hopefully we don't have to, but that was my primary thought really. Of like, we may need to use this on Cordelia because she's probably not great.
Or
difference between me and you were just like, oh, we can use this on Ed. You might need to use this on Cordelia.
I'm very aware we might need to use this on Cordelia. I'm also very aware of the fact that we have a divine intervention.
For how long?
But then, yes, but then, for how long? But then there's also the very fair point of going, yeah, we have a divine intervention. Would it work? Because this nasty little situation, we've already tested, divine magic does not affect Zentralis blood.
No, it does not.
However, I still hold the theory that reincarnation spells will. Where it will literally break down the person's body. So their body will be entirely different, so the Zentralis blood will not have a body to be on, basically, for a brief period. This is one of those things where it's like, I could so see a character going mad scientist in this campaign. So easily.
Yeah, we just spoke to him.
He's not a loony. Get it? He's not a loony. I'm just watching your character on the Twitch just struggle.
Yeah, glass in front of my face.
I do like a loony. As a character, I like loony.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're Dr. House, but Dr. House for blood hunters.
I
Which
need
is
it.
such a... They need it. Which is such a novel concept of a character. What if Dr. House, but they were for blood hunters? Oh, excuse me. So, Blue, will you have curls tomorrow, or will it be a Cult of the Lamb stream?
We'll find out tomorrow, basically.
That's fair. To throw it out there just because of a concept of a thought, there might be also an idea of like doing like a not a drawfee, but like a one of those Twitch stream kind of chat games, you know?
Yeah, I
So
know. It's just finding the time, kind of thing.
I more mean
That
like, you
was
know, if you
why
got a slot free on a Wednesday.
That was why I picked Cult of the Lamb, because Cult of the Lamb has the Twitch integration in it.
Yes.
And because I'm me, it's like, well, now I've started. If we ever do need
Get a
the
free,
backup
we'll
game,
just do
it's
it
like,
then.
well, that's the game that we play until it's finished, kind of thing.
Yeah. Just another one for the back burner for the future then.
How late do you usually do? 11 o'clock, which means we're literally about to end.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're nearly over. It's one
Yeah.
of those things of if we're having an interesting topic or if we're
Invested in what
focused
we're
on
doing.
something,
Yeah.
we'll just
We-
keep
we
it going
overrun.
until we close it.
Yeah, we overrun
Yeah, but-
occasionally.
I
Oh,
nearly
boy.
have my 6th Space Marine done. So many Space
If you do a community game, please hide the code or put it in Discord. I'm aware, Core. I'm aware. And if it is, it would be. I wouldn't play like Jackbox or something. I would play something like that Kingdom game where you're meant to get as many people involved as you can.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't
That
play.
game-
If I was playing a private game with my friends, then I would be messaging it to my friends. But if, in general, what I want to be doing is playing a game to get the chat involved, because that's the idea. So you want them to know how to play.
That's one of those ones where you get your friends in on the Jackbox and then let the Twitch chat vote
Yep.
after everyone's in. We're aware, Core. We're aware. But good shout. Good shout.
I had a nice evening chatting, but I can't say I've had a nice evening working.
I'm doing great.
Glad one of us is.
It's like, oh, rip you, but I'm different.
Yeah, basically. God, normal maps are such a headache. It's another one of those things where it's like, you know the theory, but the practice is so much more finicky and hard.
I imagine it's one of those things as well. It's like if you streamline the process or if there's something that speeds it up, you're way more likely to get errors.
Yeah. It's not a fast process. Like, it's another one of those things that I don't actually know if Substance Painter can do normal maps. I think it can, and it's like if Substance Painter can do normal maps, then that's infinitely easier. Substance Painter's like £600. Fuck you,
Ooh.
Adobe. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Adobe. Fuck turfs. Fuck turfs. Fuck Adobe. Fuck Nestle and.
Be gay. Do crime. Because that's the thing, like, a lot of these nice models that have really good textures and good normal maps, you inevitably look in the description and they're like, include Substance Painter files, and it's like, you use Substance Painter to make this. I hate that it's a good program currently.
Yeah.
They fucked up Photoshop. So,
It's only a matter of time until somebody, finds a way to bring up the alternative that's going to be slightly better.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm so for when there's an arms race within quality of content like that between providers.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
that's the problem. It's one of those things where it's like, for a while, Photoshop was like the program to use, but these days now it's like we've got Clip Studio, Procreate, like the amount of alternatives are huge. I've been investigating, and it's like, while there are alternatives to Substance Painter, not very well known, and they're all kind of new, and every single time you look at the video to be like, which is better, it's always like, Substance Painter's the best one, and it's like, god fucking damn it.
This video is sponsored by Adobe. Probably not, but you know what I mean. Oh, just crack my fingies.
I'm trying to understand.
145 for the current version. Fuck.
It's too much. It's too much. And that's the. I talked about this the other day with Oz. I think it was yesterday. My days blur together. All of Adobe stuff is subscription. You can get Substance Painter on all things Steam, and it is a one-time payment, which is the one that Voz is looking at. That is a one-time payment for the current version of Substance Painter, but the keyword there is current. After this year, they will release Substance Painter 2024, and you will stop receiving updates. You will have paid $145 for a program no longer receiving updates, and it's like,
ooh, nicht good.
Infuriating. And it's like, oh, if you want the updates, then you can just, buy Substance Painter 24 for another $100. And it's like, fuck you, Adobe. Fuck you. No one else does this bullshit.
Unlike Blue, when Adobe does for money, no one finds it cute.
I don't ask for this much money. It's ridiculous.
I kind of feel like the TF2 Doctor, where I just like have a head in a fridge.
Yeah.
with the head on the fucking piece of glue. Like, kill me later.
I understand why we're getting this blotch on this chest now. Which is why I'm also getting infuriated by it, because, like, there's nothing there! There's nothing there for you to be projecting onto the chest. Why?
The immediate panic I had because these paint pots have a little lip in them, and that's where, like, you could take off a little bit of the paint very easily.
Yes.
But I dipped my paintbrush into it, and I saw green, and I panicked because I clearly hadn't washed this brush off. And it's like, no, scoop that out, fucking mix it into the water, get rid of it immediately. Panic.
Yeah, this has been a frustrating night.
Unfortunately, it seems like that's one of those things where it's like you just gotta grit your teeth.
Yeah, it's peak game design. I was so tempted, that tweet going around where it was like, you there, creative person, what's the thing that people in your industry might not know? For me, it was like, in game design, sometimes there will be days, weeks, months where you just make no progress. And you just have to accept that.
What would that be for me?
Sometimes you have to roll back and you will lose weeks of work, and you just have to accept that.
Here's one for the electrician industry. 90% of the reason you get an electrician to get something isn't because the electrician knows what they're doing. It's because the electrician is insured. So that if the electrician fucks up, you and them are covered. Whereas if you get a Tomer in to do the job for you, like a handyman, and they fuck up, well, you can sue them for up to £2,000 for a minor infraction.
Wow.
So Tomers are actually in a lot of danger. So getting an electrician in basically means everything is meant to be done above board.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, shit. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna have to start again.
Oof.
And it's like,
Sad.
right, it's a 3-hour stream of nothing. This is why I said I'm glad I had you here, because I would be...
No, it wasn't nothing.
I had a nice evening chatting to you, but I did not have a nice evening working on this.
It wasn't an evening of nothing. You learned about Warhammer and orcs and... Couldn't even finish the fucking sentence. There was a thing actually. I know you guys made a comment about this earlier about like, are there any dragons? There was an original concept with the salamanders where the dreadnoughts are just the big coffin guys. They look like it's just a brick. They look like a brick. There was an original concept that the salamanders dreadnoughts would look like dragons.
That's so much.
And then they're like, why didn't you do that? Because there are dreadnoughts. There are dreadnoughts for the space wolves, which are like, oh, they have like wolf pelts all over them, and they use giant wolf axes and all these kind of cool things. And I'm like, fucking cowards. Give me a giant blocky boy, you fucking cowards. Okay. That's another one done. Now stay the fuck there.
If you roll back and then follow the stream on what you clicked, does this help? It's not that I've, like, fucked up, it's just that, like, the process isn't working, and I think it's better for me to try to start again than trying to fix what isn't working.
Yeah, that
sort of thing. Again, that's a typical game design thing, which is the joke I was making about the Twitch thing, the Twitter thing of just like sometimes it is very common, probably not even in game design, in a lot of things, of like sometimes something goes wrong, and instead of trying to fix it, it's just easier if you start again.
Yeah.
It's so like I'm quite happy with the little patterns that we've got sculpted in on the chest. We go over to the shading and you can see them here, and they're okay, they're a bit basic, but they're fine. And then there's just this big splodge, and I'm examining this and I'm like, there is no feasible reason that I can understand why that splodge is appearing, which is why I'm just like, I just fucking start again. It's not like I've done the whole thing and I'm gonna lose ages of progress. It's like, yeah, it took me the evening, but I was doing a lot of like fiddling and finagling. It's like, all I've done is the chest, So it's one of those things of just like, it's probably just easier if I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and I just go back to the increment save, which is why
back to the drawing board.
Which is why I increment, I saved right before I started this progress. So it's just easier if I roll back, because, I could, again, it's trying to weigh your time efficiency. If I've already probably spent a good 45 minutes trying to work out why the splodge is here, and I haven't. So,
whereas you could have spent it being an hour into trying to go, well, let's start again.
So it's sunken cost fallacy now of just like, just wipe it, start again.
You don't need to talk about sunken cost fallacy to me. I played Warcraft.
Oof. Them's the breaks, people. Yeah.
Give me the fucking Phoenix.
It's my Phoenix, bitch. It's mine.
No.
My Phoenix and my time-lost proto-drake!
Oh, I know. I'm not gonna lie, Blue. You could probably, and I mean this dead-ass, sell that account because you have those two months.
I am aware. Hi, guys. I have a World of Warcraft account that has both the Ashes of Valar and the time-lost proto-drake. That's worth
She's
money.
not giving out any details about that account, because if she does, some fucker will actually give it a shot to try and get it.
Yeah.
That is 6 minis. Oh, hang on. I knew I was forgetting something with this guy. I was like, why do you look so small? It's like you're missing your backpack. It's like a fucking kid I'm sending off to kindergarten and they're missing their backpack. I will always enjoy the first story about the first drop of the Ashes of Valar, which was caused by a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yes, that's very sweet.
Yeah. Back when Blizzard had a soul.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who am I kidding? There's still people who have a soul in Blizzard. It's just...
The company doesn't have a soul.
Yes.
That's the difference.
There are good people in Blizzard. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bad people too.
Anyway.
Just shove.
I'll always remember when it dropped for me because I was at Spooks. I'd slept at Spooks for the night, and he'd installed. You know Spook never touched an MMO. Once played Guild Wars and didn't like it. He'd installed World of Warcraft on his computer for me to play. In the morning, I was in like a fucking dressing gown, and we were just chatting, and then the action stuff allowed. I was literally explaining to him, just like, I've done this run 5 billion times. I'm just like, completely not even paying attention. Not even paying attention. Could do this blind, I'm like max level going through a Burning Crusade dungeon of just like, I'm not even paying attention. I'm one-shotting everything. I don't care. And just being like, and then literally like the dialogue is playing of like, you kill me, and then I run up and I'm like, and then I run up and I loot, and then I click on it and it's just there, mount, and I'm just like, what? And there's just the confusion on Spook's face. And I'm like,
probably gonna be confusion on Spook's face now after that shout.
I was like, I got it. I got it.
I can't remember what my reaction was to that. I legitimately can't remember. I probably blacked it out. Spook was at his mother's?
Yeah. This was ages before we were living together.
In the before times.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was staying at Spook's. Yeah, I was staying.
I know. I was trying to get a visual of like, when the fuck was that? Was that specifically that time? So that was that time period, which was probably 6+ years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Oh, makes us feel old. I literally went back for like one of our older clips. I think there was one from like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, from Varys stabbing the white dragon through the head, and I'm like, look at all these babies.
Yeah, I've looked at some of those clips as well because I was like, I should put some D&D clips in here because we're going to be starting D&D soon, and it's been so long since we've done D&D that all of the clips are just like so baby.
Yes, we're so fresh-faced. Look at all these people who have hope and shit. Now they just love their friends.
So we don't have that many D&D clips, but the two that I'm probably going to be putting in the trailer is the one of Nehrim screaming, "I'm a sorcerer," because honestly iconic. And then the clip of you telling me, Kay, and Curls that the conches are all owned by the Dragon Lords, and it's just the three of us in sync staring at the ceiling and going, fuck! Just in sync. I'm like, yep, that's a good D&D clip. Slight improvement, but it's still there.
I honestly think that was like one of my favorite D&D moments, was just, here is Imrith. Imrith's about to push your shit in. And you guys like get ready for a fight, like, okay, we're gonna like do this. And it's like, okay, breath weapon.
It's just like, oh god, everything hurts.
Oh god, oh fuck. And then Harshnag, literally, as he is in the narrative, throwing himself at her, physically just trying to wrestle her, not even trying to like fight her, wrestle her, so that she can't blast you guys again.
Yeah,
and smashing.
Yeah, and the perspective is that I've now run this from the DM side, and I'm just, and my perspective on it has not changed actually in the slightest. I'm just like, holy shit, that is Jesus. They wrote that.
Yep. And I gave you guys the little MacGuffin of having a wish spell, and Nerwin just goes, I wish Harshnag were here. And I was like, okay, Harshnag's here. He is out of fucking action, but he is here.
We were just like, save the friend. Is that one of those days where it's like, and his heart grew 3 sizes because he gave the party a wish spell and they used it to save the NPC?
Yeah, boy.
Right. I'm just chatting at this point. I think it's time to end the stream. We're now 15 minutes past 11.
Oh, pants.
Yeah,
okay.
We zoned out on that one. I really need to go.
Time flies when you're painting minis. Alright, folks. Thank you all so much for coming.
Yes, thanks for keeping me company. I think I would have legitimately gone insane if I hadn't had company tonight.
All these squares make a circle.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be just starting over tomorrow, so come back tomorrow for more of this bullshit. Normal maps suck. I think it's mostly partly that I'm not very good at them. I'm trying to get better, but it's a painful process. It's a painful process. Not using substance painer. Right, go get some sleep. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have Custom Dragon Age. If not, you know the deal. I'll let people know on Twitter and Discord and all that shit.
Why don't you show your schedule?
Just press that button there. There we go. It's easy. You guys know the drill. That's how we do. I'm looking forward to Thursday, though.
For more MMOs.
Yeah,
Always a
as
good vibe.
Das and Core duke it out in the chat for who can post the links fastest. Very funny. Right, time for bed. Good night.
Take care, everyone. Much love.
Bye.
Bye bye.